Hi, it's Shane for Yes to Jesus Ministries, and today I just want to bring you a word from Acts chapter 27. This is where Paul is on a ship and it's about to be shipwrecked. They didn't heed his advice a little bit earlier. He's on his way to Rome, of course, as God had been calling him to go, and he knew like that was going to be his last stop, basically. But we get to this point in 27:35, and finally he's encouraged everyone after they've thrown all their gear over the side of the boat. They have been not eating, and he says, "Take bread and eat." And look at this in 27:35, and he says, "When he had said these things, he took bread and gave thanks in the presence of them all, and when he had broken it, he began to eat." Now this just stuck out to me as I was reading through this. It reminded me of when Jesus fed the 4,000. He gave thanks and broke it, and all those people, probably about 16,000, were fed. When he fed the 5,000, same thing, gave thanks, broke it. And the same thing at the Last Supper. Even as his betrayer was there with him, he said, "This is my body." He gave thanks and he broke it and he distributed it. And here Paul has a call on his life. And I'd like to encourage you that each of you do as well. God designed you specifically for a purpose in this life, and if you will align with him, he will provide for you the provision that you need and the way to get to that point and accomplish what you are to accomplish. You're going to worship him forever and be with him forever in heaven. You'd already be there if you didn't have a purpose here. And so Paul is on his way to what he knows is his final destination. And they're in this very tough situation. So he gives thanks in the presence of them all and breaks it and takes it and eat. And they all ate, all 260 people that were on the boat. And I believe in a way this symbolizes the body of Jesus. They were then under the protection. An angel had appeared to Paul and said they were all going to be saved. This is them, in a way, I believe, buying into that and taking that blessing upon themselves. Paul thanked God for it, for the provision. He broke it as it was necessary to be distributed, just like Jesus' body had to be broken to be the sacrifice. And then he was raised from the dead, went to heaven, and then what? The Holy Spirit comes so it can be distributed to every person. So we see this kind of theme happening over and over again. Paul breaks the bread. He gives them the provision they're going to need. And then shortly thereafter, they ran aground. They were about to be shipwrecked. They landed on the island of Malta, but before that, the soldiers were actually going to kill all the prisoners because they're responsible for them, and if they escaped, it would be their lives. But once again, Paul had put out this blessing and had encouraged them in the word that he received from the angel that they would all be spared. And so not only were they saved from the shipwreck, they were saved from being killed by the soldiers. And they all survived. And even later, when Paul's on the island, he gets bit by a viper and doesn't die. And many are healed. So I just want to encourage you. Even though there are ups and downs on your journey and some things that seem very impossible, like Paul's in this situation, all 260 people on there are sitting there going, God had the provision right there for them, both in the immediate sense. They were fed, and then they were under that blessing and were protected. God has the same for you. Trust in him for his provision, for his protection, that he has a purpose for you. And don't hesitate to give thanks for what you have in your hands. Break it. And take it in and shine your light to the world. May this bless you.